Hello, I hope you're doing well. You might want to go get mom and dad, let them know what you're studying, and they can help you out. Today, you have an objective, a cognitive objective. You're going to analyze, that means study the small parts of the escape hatch with math. So yes, it's an escape hatch, but what about each part? What can you realize about this escape hatch with some math? You did a great job with the price. Some of you were very close with the emails I got from mom and dad. Some of you were spot on. You got it exactly correct. That is wonderful work. Thank you for that. That was great. Another goal, kind of a feeling objective, is that we're going to learn to be persistent. That means how to not give up. We're going to learn how to not give up, how to be persistent, how to learn persistence by accepting challenges. So I'm going to give you at the beginning pretty easy challenges. Today they might be challenges that might be more appropriate for kindergartners. And if you're in kindergarten and you do that challenge, that's great. Then I'll ask some harder ones for first, second, third graders, for fifth graders, for fourth graders, right? And it will be difficult. We'll probably get to a place where you can't do the problem. But is that all bad? Is that bad to know that there's something left to learn? Of course not, right? You just go as far as you can. Then what can you do? You get stuck, have mom or dad email me and we'll figure it out, okay? So, my eraser blew away. Okay. Let's start some questions for our friends in kindergarten and first grade. All right. Remember when I made that escape hatch, that window cover, there were 8 boards. And each board was 8 feet long. So can you imagine if I took 1 board, 2 boards, 3 boards, 4 boards, 5 boards, 6 boards, 7 boards, 8 boards, and just line them up, how long they would all be if I put them end to end? Let's take a look at that. Get mom and dad with you, because they can help you out. If I took all the boards that I used, it might be surprising. I don't know if I could throw a rock that far. It's pretty far. It's pretty far. So watch this and make sure to count along. Yeah, what kind of funny? Well, what are you gonna do? Third graders, I wonder if you could tell me, because I bet you could figure out very quickly how many feet that was if we put all the boards end to end. But what about yards? Could you give that to me in yards? Could you also tell me not how many feet all those boards, those 8 boards are end to end, but how many inches long that is? That would probably be good for third grade. All right, fourth graders. This is kind of difficult, okay? Remember, all my work is optional. You don't have to do it. I encourage you to if you have time, but don't stress out. Okay, this describes the boards after they were cut. I had 2 boards that were 72 inches long. I had 10 boards that were 32.5 inches long, 5 boards that were 28.75 inches long, 2 boards that were hard to read backwards, 2 boards that were 32.25 inches long, 2 boards that were 27 inches long, 2 boards that were 32 inches long, and 2 boards that were 26.75 inches long. Third graders, what if I took the cut boards after they chopped them up at the shop and threw away the scrap? How long would that be? How could you figure that out? Now, there's maybe easier and harder, okay? You could do it exactly. You could use the number, for example, 32.5, or if you want to round and turn it into a 33, you won't be exactly right. But you could do that way and you would be very close. So you can round off and call 28.75 29, and 32.25 32, 27 is even, 32 is even, 26.75, you could call that 27, or you could give yourself the challenge of getting exactly to the 100th of an inch. Okay, it's good for 4th grade, I think, and probably good for 5th graders too. Remember, we're learning perseverance, so we'll probably end up doing something eventually that's kind of hard. But isn't that just life? You keep going until you find something that you still need to learn, and then have your parents email me and I'll help you. All right, 5th graders, I got something special for you. Let's talk about these boards with math. Let's analyze or break into little pieces these boards. That window cover escape hatch that we made is made out of boards that are 2x4s. Yeah? And this? Oh no, can't do much stuff in my hands. Goodness. Okay. So they are 2x4s, and then what happens? Well, they go off in a distance. They're not just 2-dimensional. They're 3-dimensional. So they go off, you know, some direction over here for some distance, and then let's kind of say like, maybe it's not really there, and then they have an end, right? So 4x2 by, like I know there's a 2x4 by 72. Let's go take a look at that. So there's a 2x4 by 72 inches. So this right here is a 2x4 by 72. All right? And you've got all kinds of different shapes in there. Another one you've got is 2x2s. You've got 2x2s and 2x4s. You don't have anything else. I accidentally said 2x6 in one of my videos. I apologize. But you got 2x4s and 2x2s. And 2x2s have whatever length, right, like this. Go off however long. Now this could be a 2x2 by 27. All of those are inches, right? And that would look something like these parts. 2x2, and then a certain length. Okay. So, remember how we found the volume of, what did we call it? A rectangular prism? Length times width times height. The 3 dimensions times each other. Hard work. But just like you did so much work with volume, and I was pretty amazed with your answers, how precise you were with your price minus discount plus sales tax. So we have to find something more difficult. But when we find that zone, when we find that place where it becomes difficult for us, that's not a bad thing. That's where we need to be in that zone where we are able to get it done, but maybe with a little help from Mom and Dad, or from me, if you email me. So here are the boards again. But instead of saying there are two 72-inch boards, they're 2-inch by 4-inch by 72-inch boards, and we've got 2 of them. They are 2-inch by 4-inch by 32.5-inch boards, and we've got 10 of them. You might pause the video and write this down. You've seen it before. You've seen it before. Give you a second to hit pause. Okay. So you remember what we used to do when we used to have a big tank of water, and we would dunk things in there to see how many milliliters or cubic centimeters would run out of there? It's kind of the same idea, but maybe a little more advanced. What if this were not absorbent and we just dunked this whole thing? What if we dunked this whole thing, this whole blue and purple structure, into water? How many cubic inches is in that whole structure? Hard, right? I don't know that I'm necessarily expecting you to be able to do it. I'm just expecting you to try. And if you can, awesome, right? And if you can't, well, we find things to work on for next year, and that's okay, right? So see what you can do. There is one harder level yet. Okay, if you really want a challenge, if you really have some time to try to do something amazing, you can amaze me with this, and maybe some of you will. That would be awesome. Okay, so this project assumes that you know how many cubic inches are in that wooden structure, right? That wooden escape hatch. So, first step, I'd like you to convert cubic inches into cubic feet. Well, here's a cubic foot. We've got 12 inches here and 12 inches there. And then going back in depth, we've got 12 inches. So, the number of cubic inches inside of a cubic foot is 12 times 12 times 12. So there's some math for you to do. Figure out how many cubic inches are inside a cubic foot. Then I want to know how much this thing weighs related to its volume. All right? So if I took this wood, right, by the cubic inch or by the cubic foot, and I weighed it, how much would a cubic foot of that wood weigh, including the nails, okay, that are in there? So, here's what you're going to need to do. I'm going to show you the weight of that window hatch. Once we find out the weight, divide it by the number of cubic feet, and you'll get the number of pounds. The weight, we'll take it in pounds per cubic foot. Whew. But that's analysis, right? It's just a window cover. But how could we see all the little parts of that window cover, from the length to the price to the volume to sort of like the density, the weight? Density may not be the right word, but the weight per cubic foot of wood, right? There's a lot going on there. See what you can do. Remember, my work is optional. I encourage you to do it. I encourage you to stretch yourself. And remember, part of our goal was to analyze with math. Another part was to stretch until we find that place that we need help. All right, in order to know how much this wood weighs, I better use my mom's scale. So I borrowed it. Here we go. long time since I did PE class. Okay. Oh. $69.8 pounds. 69.8 pounds. If you want to do a little more work, call it 69.8 pounds. A little less work, call it 70 pounds. Woo. I used to be able to lift things, I promise. All right. Feel like I'm out of shape. Probably because I only leave the house like once every week. And I've got Uber Eats and Popeye's chicken. Speaking of having a scale, I wonder if I've changed any in the last, COVID era here. Holy jelly donut burger.